The uninvited guest, the proximity alarms, screamed across every monitoring station in Sector 7. Something massive had just torn through the fabric of space itself, arriving without warning, without permission, without any of the proper protocols that governed civilized travel between the stars. Controller Rex of the Vex Empire stared at his display screen in disbelief. The energy signature was unlike anything in their database. The ship that had emerged from hyperspace was enormous, easily 3 times the size of their largest battlecruiser. But it was the design that made his secondary heart skip a beat. Angular, aggressive, built for one purpose only: war. "Sir, the vessel is transmitting an identification code," his assistant, a young Vex named Ta, announced with barely contained fear. It's human." The bridge fell silent. Humans were known throughout the galaxy as clever traders and diplomats. They ran cargo ships and passenger vessels. They negotiated trees and sold exotic foods from their distant world. They did not operate warships. They certainly did not operate warships like this. The TNS Vengeance cut through space like a knife through silk. On its bridge, Commander Jack Stone stood with his hands clasped behind his back, studying the tactical display. They had jumped directly into the heart of Vex territory, knowing full well it would cause panic. That was the point. "Sir, we're being hailed by 17 different vessels," Lieutenant Tom Blake reported from the communications station. "They're demanding we power down and prepare to be boarded." Stone's weathered face cracked into a grim smile. "Send them our standard response, Lieutenant. Tell them we're here on a rescue mission. Any interference will be considered an act of war." "Sir, they're not going to like that. They're not supposed to." 3 Vex patrol ships moved to intercept, their sleek purple hulls gleaming in the light of the nearby star. They were beautiful ships, Stone had to admit, graceful even, but they were built for policing trade routes and catching smugglers, not for real combat. "Commander, they're charging weapons," the tactical officer, Lisa Park, announced calmly. "Shields to maximum. Let them take the first shot." The lead Vex ship fired. A brilliant beam of energy lanced out across space, striking the Vengeance's shields. The beam, which could have vaporized a small asteroid, simply dissolved against the invisible barrier surrounding the human vessel. The shield readings barely flickered. Rex watched the tactical data in horror. Their most powerful weapon had done nothing. Absolutely nothing. "Impossible," he whispered. "Their shields? How can they be that strong?" Stone opened a channel to the Vex ships. "This is Commander Stone of the Terran naval ship Vengeance. That was your one free shot. The next ship that fires on us will be reduced to atoms. We are here to retrieve our people who were taken from colony ship Harmony 3 weeks ago. Stand aside. This is Controller Rex of the Vex Empire," came the reply. "You have no authority here, human. This is sovereign Vex space. You will power down immediately or face the consequences." Stone turned to his weapons officer. "Lieutenant Park, target the asteroid at bearing 27 Mark 4, 20% power." "Targeted, sir. Fire." A single pulse of blue-white energy erupted from the Vengeance's forward cannon. The asteroid, a chunk of rock the size of a small city, simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed, not broken apart, completely vaporized in an instant. Every alien ship in the sector received the same data at the same moment. The humans had fired at 20% power. 20%. Rex felt his scales turn pale. "Send a priority message to the Empire. Tell them tell them the humans lied to us. They lied to everyone." The Vengeance continued its steady advance into the sector, ignoring the gathering alien ships like a bear ignoring flies. Humanity had hidden its true nature for long enough. The rescue mission was just the beginning. In the depths of space, Dozens of similar human warships received the same coded message. Phase 1 initiated. The mask is off. The galaxy would never be the same. First contact protocol violation, Admiral. Carr of the Vex Empire stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Pride of Vex. Around him, a fleet of 47 warships held formation, the largest military response the sector had seen in 300 years. His orders were simple. Stop the human vessel at any cost. Admiral, the human ship is still advancing, his tactical officer reported. They're ignoring all communication attempts. Carr's 4 eyes narrowed as he studied the massive human warship on his display. The Vengeance moved through space with disturbing confidence, as if the gathered fleet was nothing more than a minor inconvenience. Open a priority channel, Carr commanded. I will speak to their commander myself. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Commander Stone watched the Vex fleet arrange itself in a blocking formation. It was an impressive sight. Dozens of purple and silver ships spreading out like a net across space. In any other circumstance, it might have been intimidating. Sir, Admiral Carr is hailing us directly, Lieutenant Blake announced. Put him through. The alien admiral's face appeared on the main screen. The Vex looked like most species in the galaxy found them, vaguely reptilian with scales that shifted color based on emotion. Right now, Carr's scales were a deep red of anger, mixed with orange streaks of anxiety. Commander Stone, Carr began, his translated voice carrying the weight of authority. I am Admiral Carr of the Vex Empire. You will halt your advance immediately. You have violated 17 different treaties by entering our space with an armed vessel. Stone stepped forward, his expression calm. Admiral, those treaties were signed when humanity was pretending to be something we're not. We're done pretending. I have 300 human colonists being held in your prison station. I'm going to get them back. Impossible. Those humans were caught violating our mining rights. They are criminals under Vex law. They were farming on an uninhabited moon, Stone replied coldly. A moon your empire decided to claim after they had already been there for 2 years. But that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that you have one chance to move your fleet aside. Carr's scales flashed bright red. You dare threaten the might of the Vex Empire? One ship against 47? Stone turned to his communications officer. Lieutenant Blake, send authorization code Black Sun to all units. Code sent, sir. Carr was about to respond when his sensor officer suddenly cried out in alarm. Admiral, I'm detecting massive energy signatures. They're everywhere. Space itself seemed to ripple around the Vex fleet. One by one, human warships began to decloak. Not just 1 or 2 20 human vessels materialized out of nowhere, each one as large and menacing as the Vengeance. They had been there the entire time, hidden by cloaking technology the aliens didn't even know existed. Impossible, Carr whispered, his scales turning pale white with shock. Cloaking technology of this level? It doesn't exist. It does now. Stone said simply, Admiral, let me explain something to you. For the past 50 years, while your empire and others were content to treat us as second-class citizens, while you restricted our technology trades and limited our expansion, we've been preparing. Every insult, every unfair treaty, every time. You took our people. We remembered. The human ships moved into attack formation with perfect synchronization. Their weapons ports glowed with barely contained energy. But we're not monsters, Stone continued. We don't want war. We want our people back. Stand aside, Admiral. This is your final warning. Carr's pride warred with his survival instinct. The readings his ships were getting from the human vessels were terrifying. Energy levels that shouldn't be possible. Hull compositions that defied their understanding of metallurgy. And those shields, They had all seen what happened to the patrol ship's attack. "Admiral," his second-in-command whispered, urgently, "if even half these readings are accurate, they could destroy the entire fleet in minutes." Another alarm sounded. "Sir, we're detecting virus programs in our computer systems. They're not damaging anything, just demonstrating they're there." "Stones." Voice cut through the chaos. "That's just a reminder, Admiral. We've been studying your systems for decades. Every ship you have is running software with human components. We helped design half your navigation systems. Did you really think we were just being helpful?" The revelation hit the Vex fleet like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just been traders and diplomats. They had been infiltrating, learning, preparing. Every friendly transaction had been intelligence gathering. Every treaty had been a delay tactic while they built their true fleet. "All ships," Stone announced on an open channel that every vessel in the sector could hear. "The human colonists imprisoned on Station 9 will be released within 1 hour. Any ship that attempts to interfere will be disabled. Note that I said disabled, not destroyed. We're offering mercy. Once." Admiral Carr felt the weight of decision on his shoulders. Fight and likely die, or stand aside and face the humiliation of retreat. But as he looked at the tactical display, at the 21 human warships that had appeared from nowhere, he knew there was really no choice at all. "All Vex vessels," he commanded, his voice heavy with defeat, "stand down. Form corridor. Let them pass." As the Vex fleet slowly parted, creating a clear path to the prison station, Stone allowed himself a small nod of satisfaction. Phase 2 was complete. No shots fired, no lives lost. But every species in the sector now knew the truth. Humanity was done being pushed around. "Sir," Lieutenant Park reported quietly, "the other sectors are reporting in. Our fleets have revealed themselves in 12 different systems simultaneously." Stone nodded. The message would be clear across the galaxy by the end of the day. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had brought their own rules in. The distance, Prison Station 9, grew larger on their screens. 300 humans waited there, probably wondering why their captors were suddenly so nervous. They were about to find out that their species had teeth after all. Asterisk the Hunt Begins Prison Station 9 floated in the void like a metal spider, its dozen arms extending outward to dock with supply ships and prisoner transports. Inside one of its maximum security blocks, Mike Roberts sat with his fellow colonists, unaware that the galaxy outside was changing forever. "Another day in paradise," Anna White muttered, picking at the gray protein paste that passed for food. Mike was about to respond when the lights flickered. Then the gravity shifted slightly. Then every guard in sight suddenly started running. Commander Stone studied the station schematics on his tactical display. The human fleet had formed a protective sphere around the Vengeance, well smaller. Assault craft prepared for the rescue operation. Everything was going according to plan. Too well, in fact. "Sir," Lieutenant Park frowned at her console, "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the station. They're moving our people." "To where?" "Deeper into the station, into the maximum security vault." Stone's jaw tightened. "They're using them as shields. They think we won't risk our own people." What the aliens didn't know was that humanity had planned for this. Every contingency had been mapped out, every possibility considered. The rescue wasn't just about saving colonists. It was about sending a message. Meanwhile, across the sector, something else was happening. Ships from 5 different species were converging on their position. The Vex Empire had called for help. On the bridge of the Kalari destroyer Shadow Strike, Captain Vell coordinated with his new allies. The Kalari were master hunters, evolved from pack predators on their homeworld. The Joran brought their heavy armor. The mechs at their speed. Together with the Vex and the Dom, they formed an alliance of over 200 ships. The humans have shown their hand too early, Vel said to the other commanders. 21 ships are powerful, but not invincible. We surround them, we overwhelm them. We end this threat before it grows. Back on Station 9, Warden Zex received new orders directly from the Vex Empire's high command. Use the humans as a barrier. If their own species won't fire on them, we can buy time for the Alliance fleet to arrive. Zex's tentacles writhed. With anxiety, he had dealt with human prisoners before. They were usually cooperative, intelligent, even friendly. But something about today felt different. The humans in the cells seemed ... expectant. Move them all to the core vault, Zex ordered. Every last human. Pack them around our command center. As the guards began herding the colonists, Mike Roberts noticed something odd. The guards' weapons weren't powering up properly. Their communication devices kept sparking. Even the doors were responding slowly. Anna, he whispered, something's happening. She nodded, having noticed it too. Look at their faces. They're terrified. On the Vengeance, Stone received a message from his cyber warfare team. Sir, we have complete control of the station's secondary systems. We can't open the vault directly. It's on isolated circuits, but we own everything else. And the Alliance fleet? 17 minutes out, sir? Stone made his decision. Begin Operation Trojan Horse. Suddenly, every human warship began broadcasting on all frequencies. But it wasn't a message, it was code. Billions of lines of code, flooding every receiver in the sector. Most ships' computers rejected it automatically. But some systems, the ones with human-designed components, began accepting the data. Captain Vel watched in confusion as his navigation system started displaying warnings. Then his weapons systems. Then life support. One by one, systems across the Alliance fleet began reporting the same message. Human safety protocol activated. What is this? Vel snarled. His technical officer's feathers were standing on end with fear. Sir, it's a back door. The humans built backdoors into every system they ever helped design. Half our fleet is running human software somewhere in their systems. Delete it. I can't. It's integrated into the core programming. We'd have to rebuild our entire computer system from scratch. On Station 9, the same thing was happening. Every door, except the ones to the vault. Every weapon except those pointing at humans deactivated. The station's own systems had turned against its operators. Warden Zex watched helplessly as his command screens displayed a simple message. Prisoner transfer in progress. Please stand by. Then the lights went out. In the darkness. The human colonists heard a sound they never expected. The hum of transport beams. Not the station's beams, but something far more advanced. One by one, they began disappearing, teleported directly through the station's hull. That's impossible, Zex screamed. Transport through shields and hull plating? It can't be done, but it was being done. The humans had developed quantum teleportation, while the rest of the galaxy was still using matter converters. In less than 3 minutes, every human colonist vanished from the station. Mike Roberts materialized on the transport pad of the Vengeance, Anna beside him. Around them, hundreds of other colonists were appearing on pads throughout the human fleet. Medical teams rushed forward, checking everyone, providing food and water. A young ensign approached Mike. Mr. Roberts? Commander Stone would like to speak with you. Mike was led to the bridge, where he found himself face to face with a legend. Every human knew about Jack Stone, the war hero who had disappeared into deep space 20 years ago. Now he knew why. Mr. Roberts, Stone said, shaking his hand firmly. I'm sorry it took us so long to come get you. Commander, what's happening? The guards were terrified. Stone smiled grimly. We're done hiding, son. Done pretending to be weak. The galaxy is about to learn why humans became the dominant species on a death world filled with predators. The Alliance fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 200 ships. Strong. They expected to find the human fleet surrounded and outgunned. Instead, they found the human ships waiting calmly. Their rescued colonists already aboard. Captain Vel opened a channel to all ships. This is Captain Vel of the Kalari. Human vessels, you are surrounded and outnumbered 10 to 1. Surrender immediately. Stone's response was broadcast to every ship, every station, every planet listening. Captain Vel, before you make any aggressive moves, you might want to check your news feeds from the other sectors. Vel frowned and pulled up the galactic news. Network. His blood ran cold. Images were flooding in from 12 different sectors. Human fleets had appeared everywhere simultaneously. But more than that, they were demonstrating capabilities that shouldn't exist. Ships that could phase through matter. Weapons that could target specific DNA. Shields that could withstand supernovas. This is Commander Stone of the Terran Navy, the human continued. We have retrieved our people without firing a single shot. Your move, Captain. Asterisk Humanity's true face Captain Vel stared at the tactical display in disbelief. 200 Alliance ships against 21 human vessels. The numbers were clear, but nothing else made sense. His weapons officer was reporting that half their targeting systems wouldn't lock onto the human ships. It wasn't a malfunction. The systems simply refused. Sir, his second-in-command whispered. The other fleets are reporting similar problems. The human code has infected everything. On every Allied ship, the same scene played out. Decades of hidden programming activated all at once. The humans hadn't just sold them technology. They had sold them Trojan horses, each one waiting for this moment. Commander Stone stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, watching the Alliance fleet struggle with their compromised systems. He turned to his communications officer. Lieutenant Blake, open a channel to Earth. It's time. The secure quantum link established instantly, connecting them to a location 30,000 light-years away. The face that appeared on the screen was one that no alien had ever seen. Admiral David Cross, Supreme Commander of the Terran Navy. Commander Stone, report. All colonists recovered safely, Admiral. The Alliance fleet is here, but neutralized. Awaiting your orders. Admiral Cross nodded. Put me through to all ships. All species. Everyone. Across the galaxy, every screen capable of receiving a signal lit up with the image of Admiral Cross. He was older than Stone, with gray hair and eyes that had seen too much war. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of humanity's hidden history. Citizens of the galaxy, he began. I am Admiral David Cross of the Terran Navy. For 50 years, you have known humanity as traders, diplomats, and scientists. That was only part of the truth. The image shifted to show Earth. Not the Earth the aliens knew from tourist brochures, but the real Earth. A world of storms and earthquakes, of predators and diseases, where early humans had fought for survival against impossible odds. We come from a world that tried to kill us every day. We survived by becoming something you cannot understand, a species that prepares for war while hoping for peace. Every human ship you've ever seen was armed. Every technology we sold you was monitored. Every treaty we signed was a test of your intentions. The image changed again, showing footage the aliens had never seen. Human military exercises in deep space. Weapons tests that cracked moons in half. Fleet movements involving thousands of ships. You kept us at the edges of your society, Cross continued. You restricted our expansion, controlled our trade, and when we established a colony on an empty moon, you imprisoned our people. You thought we were weak because we smiled and negotiated. But we were watching, learning, preparing. Captain Vell found his voice. This is impossible. Where did you build these ships? How did you hide this? As if hearing him, Cross smiled coldly. We didn't build them in this galaxy. 50 years ago, we discovered something you haven't: how to travel between galaxies. We have shipyards in Andromeda, colonies in 13 other galaxies. What you see here is less than 1% of our true fleet. The revelation hit the Alliance like a physical blow. While they had been restricting humanity to a few dozen systems, the humans had spread across multiple galaxies. But we're not conquerors, Cross said, his tone shifting. We could have taken this galaxy by force decades ago. Instead, we chose to live among you, to trade with you, to learn about you. We wanted peace. We still do, but peace on equal terms. Stone received a private message from his tactical officer. Sir, the Alliance fleet is powering weapons. The systems we didn't compromise are coming online. Understood, Stone replied. Then, louder, Admiral Cross, Captain Vell is about to make a serious mistake. Vell had indeed ordered all ships with functioning weapons to prepare to fire. It wasn't many, maybe 40 ships out of 200, but it might be enough. All ships. This is Captain Vell. The humans are bluffing. I can't have that many ships. Fire on my mark. Stop, Stone commanded, his voice cutting through the chaos. Admiral Cross, show them Detroit. The screen shifted to show another human ship, but this one was different. Where the Vengeance was large, the TNS Detroit was enormous, a ship the size of a small moon. It hung in space near the Vex homeworld, having been cloaked there for over a year. Every major world in her empire has one of these watching it, Cross explained. We call them peacekeepers. Each one has enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. We've been your silent guardians, protecting you from threats you never even knew existed. 3 times in the last decade, we've stopped asteroid impacts that would have destroyed worlds. Twice, we've diverted hostile species from outside the galaxy. The Detroit decloaked fully, its massive form casting a shadow over the Vex orbital stations. Panic spread through the Vex Empire as they realized an Apocalypse-class weapon had been sitting on their doorstep for a year. But here's what you need to understand, Cross continued. We don't want to use these weapons. We want to be part of the galactic community. Real partners, not second-class citizens. The choice is yours. Captain Vell's hand hovered over the fire command. One word and 40 ships would open fire. But looking at the Detroit, at the calm confidence of the human fleet, he knew the truth. They weren't bluffing. Humanity had won this war before it even started. Stand down, he ordered quietly. All ships stand down. Commander Stone felt the tension ease slightly. Captain Vell, you've made the right choice. No one has to die today. What do you want? Vell asked, defeat clear in his voice. What we've always wanted, Stone replied. Respect, fair treatment. Our people returned when they're taken. A seat at the table as equals, not subordinates. From Earth, Admiral Cross added, we're offering a new treaty, the Terran Accord. Sign it, and we share our real technology with you. Refuse, and we simply leave. All of us. Every human in the galaxy will withdraw to our other territories. You'll never see us again. And if we sign? Admiral Carr asked, his fleet still frozen in space. Then you get the benefit of having humanity as true allies. Our medical technology that can cure most diseases. Our agricultural systems that can feed entire worlds. Our defensive shields that can protect against cosmic disasters. We want to help. We've always wanted to help. But as equals, the Alliance fleet sat in silence, processing the revelation. In a single day, everything they thought they knew about. Humans had been shattered. The primitive species they had patronized was actually the most advanced civilization in the known universe. Oh, and one more thing, Cross added. We know about the Devourers. Every alien bridge went silent. The Devourers were a myth, a legend of an ancient evil that consumed galaxies. No one spoke of them seriously. They're real. They're coming. And based on our calculations, they'll reach this galaxy in about 40 years. You can face them alone, or you can face them with us. Your choice. Asterisk New Order 3 days later. The Grand Council chamber on Prime Station was fuller than it had been in centuries. Representatives from every major species in the galaxy had gathered, drawn by a mixture of fear, curiosity, and hope. The massive circular room, designed to make all species feel equal, now felt different. Everyone kept glancing at the human section. Commander Stone stood with a small group of human diplomats. They wore simple black uniforms, no longer hiding behind the colorful robes of peaceful traders. The message was clear. Humanity was done pretending. High Counselor Drax of the Galactic Council called the session to order. The ancient being, whose species had ruled the Council for millennia, looked tired. The last 3 days had aged him considerably. We are here to discuss the Terran Accord, Drax announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. The humans have presented their terms. We will now hear from Admiral Cross. The hologram of Admiral Cross appeared in the center of the chamber, larger than life. He didn't bow, didn't show submission. He stood as an equal. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all kinds, Cross began. The terms are simple. First, immediate. Release of all humans held in custody anywhere in the galaxy, regardless of the charges. Second, recognition of human sovereignty over any world or moon where humans have established settlements. Third, full membership in the Galactic Council with voting rights equal to any other species. That's outrageous, shouted the Mexat representative. You can't just demand. I'm not finished, Cross interrupted calmly. Fourth, complete access to all our defensive technologies. Fifth, joint training exercises to prepare for the Devourer threat. Sixth, establishment of human medical centers on every major world to share our healing technology. And seventh, the immediate cessation of all technology restrictions between species. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some species were angry, others terrified, but a few looked thoughtful. Elder Wise of the Jorans stood slowly. His species were among the oldest in the galaxy, and his words carried weight. Admiral Cross, you speak of the Devourers. Many consider them myth. What proof do you have? The hologram changed, showing deep space sensor data from beyond the galaxy's edge. Something massive was moving in the void between galaxies, a darkness that swallowed light itself. This is from our Andromeda monitoring stations, Cross explained. The Devourers are a hive-mind civilization that consumes all organic and technological matter in their path. They've already consumed 17 galaxies that we know of. At their current speed, they'll reach us in 43 years. The chamber fell silent. The data was undeniable. You've known about this? Counselor Drax asked quietly. For how long? 20 years. We've been preparing. The fleet you've seen? It was built to fight them, not you. Every weapon we've developed, every ship we've constructed, was for that war. But we can't win it alone. Captain Vell, who had been given emergency representative status for the Kalari, stood. If this is true, why didn't you tell us sooner? Stone answered this one. Would you have believed us? The new species barely spacefaring for a century, telling you about a threat you've dismissed as legend? You would have laughed. So we prepared in secret, hoping we'd have time to prove ourselves worthy of your trust. And if we refuse your accord? Asked the Vex Emperor himself, attending via hologram. Then we leave, Cross said simply. We take our ships, our technology, and our people, and we retreat to our other galaxies. We'll fight the Devourers there, create a firewall to protect ourselves. This galaxy will have to face them alone. The weight of that statement hung in the air. Without human technology, without their fleet, the galaxy would be helpless. Anna White, the colonist from Station 9, had been invited to speak. She stood nervously but determined. "May I say something?" Drax nodded. "I'm not a soldier or a diplomat. I'm just a farmer. My family went to that moon because we wanted to grow food, to build something. The Vex took us prisoner for farming on land they decided they wanted after we'd already been there for years. But you know what? The humans who rescued us didn't kill anyone. They could have destroyed that entire station, but they didn't. They just wanted us back." She looked around the chamber. "You're afraid of us now because we're strong. But we were strong all along. We just chose to be kind instead. Isn't that what you want in an ally?" Her simple words cut through the politics and fear. Several representatives looked thoughtful. Elder Wise stood again. The Joran accept the Terran Accord. One by one, others followed. The Kalari, surprisingly, were second. Then the smaller species who had always been marginalized. Finally, even the Vex and Mexat agreed, though reluctantly. "The Accord is accepted," Drax announced formally. "Humanity is recognized as a full member of the Galactic Council with all rights and privileges." But Cross wasn't done. One more thing. The position of Supreme Military Commander for the Joint Fleet preparing for the Devourers. "We nominate Commander Jack Stone." Stone stepped forward. "I've been studying each of your military doctrines for 20 years. Your strengths, your weaknesses. The Vex's discipline, the Kalari's hunting tactics, the Joran's defensive strategies. Separately, we're vulnerable. Together, we might just survive." Captain Vell surprised everyone by speaking up. "I second the nomination. I've seen what human tactical planning can do. If anyone can prepare us for this threat, it's them." The vote was unanimous. 6 months later, the galaxy had changed completely. Human medical centers were saving millions of lives. Agricultural innovations were ending. Famines. The Joint Fleet was training together, learning from each other. Mike Roberts stood on the observation deck of Unity Station, the new Joint Military Command Center. His farm on the moon had been officially recognized as human territory. Below, he could see ships from dozen species working together, preparing for the real enemy. Anna joined him. "Think we'll be ready?" Commander Stone approached from behind. "We'll have to be. But for the first time, we're not hiding. We're not alone. And we're not pretending to be weak." He looked out at the fleet, human ships alongside alien vessels, all preparing together. The Devourers expect to find easy prey, divided species fighting among themselves. Instead, they'll find a united galaxy led by the species that survived Earth. In the distance, the TNS Vengeance floated alongside the Pride of Vex and the Shadow Strike. Former enemies now stood as allies. The galaxy had learned the most important lesson about humanity. They were dangerous, not because they were warriors, but because they could choose when to fight and when to show mercy. The real war was coming. But for the first time in galactic history, they would face it together. As Admiral Cross had said in his final address to the Council, "You thought we were dangerous when we entered your sector without permission. Wait until you see what we can do when we're actually trying to protect something." The age of hiding was over. The age of unity had begun. And somewhere in the void between galaxies, the Devourers continued their approach, unaware that their next meal had grown teeth. EPILOGUE 5 years after the Terran Accord, a Devourer scout probe entered the galaxy's edge. It lasted exactly 17 seconds before a combined human-alien fleet vaporized it. The message was sent back to the Devourer hive mind. This galaxy bites back. Commander Stone, now Fleet Admiral Stone, smiled grimly from his command chair aboard the newly built TN's Unity, a ship constructed with technology from every species in the Alliance. How long before their main fleet arrives? Asked Captain Vell, now his second in command. 38 years. Just enough time to make them regret coming here. The galaxy had learned to fear humanity's strength. Soon the Devourers would learn. The same lesson. Never underestimate the species that conquered Earth. The end, asterisk.